I don't suppose you live alone or anything.
No.
You know, I've cut some wonderful caramels.
Mr. Hill!
Professor Hill.
Professor what? At what college do they give a degree for following women around on the street like a Saturday night rowdy at the public dance hall?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I'm a conservatory man myself. Gary, Indiana, gold medal class of 5.
Even should that happen to be true, does that give you the right to follow me around wherever I go? And another thing, Mr. Hill, I'm not as easily mesmerized or hoodwinked as some people in this town, and I think it fair to warn you that I have a shelf full of reference books in there which may very well give me some interesting information about you.
Hey, Gregory.
Marcellus. And don't call me Greg.
How'd you make out with the music teacher?
Scrumptious. Ate out of my hand the minute I tipped my hat. She did.
Boy, you got a swab tonight. For a minute there, I thought you knew something about leading a band. Just like when you used to come to that band fellow back in Java, India.
Kid stuff. I'm in rare form these days, son. Just keep your eyes on me for the next 4 weeks.
4 weeks? It used to only take 10 days for the instruments to arrive.
It still does, but it takes 4 weeks for the uniform.
Oh no, Craig! You haven't added uniforms.
Uniforms and instruction books.
Instruction books? But you can't pass yourself off as a music professor. Not for any 4 weeks.
Well,
But you can't tell apart one note from another.
I have a revolutionary new method called the think system where you don't bother with notes.
But in 4 weeks, people are going to want to hear the music. You're going to have to lead a band.
But in 4 weeks, when the uniforms arrive, they forget about everything else. At least long enough for me to collect and leave. Oh, this is a refined operation, son, and I've got it timed out right to the last wave of the bracelet's hand on the last train out of town. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Watson.
You'll line yourself up for a little canoodling, huh?
Well,
Say, I could set you up with Ethel's sister. Lovely girl. Teaches Sunday school.
no wide-eyed, wholesome, innocent Sunday school teacher for me. That kind of girl spins webs no spider ever. Listen, boy. A girl who trades on all that purity merely wants to trade my independence for her security. The only affirmative she will file refers to marching down the aisle. No golden, glorious, gleaming, pristine goddess. No, sir, for no Diana do I play fun. I can tell you that right now. I spark, I fizz, for the lady who knows what time it is. I snarl, I hiss. How can ignorance be compared to bliss? I cheer, I rave, for the virtue I'm too late to save. The sadder but wiser girl for me. No bright-eyed, blushing, breathless baby doll baby. No, sir, that kind of child ties knots no sailor ever knew. I prefer to take a chance on a more adult romance. No dewy young miss who keeps resisting all the while she keeps insisting. No wide-eyed, wholesome, innocent female. No, sir, for she's the fisherman, I'm the fish you see. I clap, I flinch, I shy when the lass with the delicate air walks by. I smile, I grin when the gal with a touch of sin walks in. I hope, I pray, for Hester to win just one more A. The sadder but wiser girl's the girl for me. The sadder but wiser girl for me. hospital? That type of medicine?
Exactly. Who do you think he was anyway?
Well, I should say, show off. Gave the town the library too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he gave the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her. She was seen going and coming from his place. Oh yes, that one made. Right, with a guilt tax guaranteed. Should have gone to Clinton and Roy a silver gift to counterfeit grade. Just melt her down and you'll reveal a lump of lead cold as steel. Here, for a woman's heart. He left River City, the library building, but he left all the books to her. Chaucer,
Rabelais, Balzac.
cheep, 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 cheep. Pick a little chocolate, pick a little
Now we need
chocolate,
to
cheep, cheep, cheep.
Of course.
Pick a little
I
chocolate,
thought
pick
you
a
were
little
thinking
chocolate,
of
cheep, 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 cheep.
Follow me.
Pick a little chocolate, pick a little chocolate, cheep, 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 chocolate.
Good night, ladies.
Pick a little chocolate, pick a little chocolate, cheep, 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 cheep.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. We're going to leave you now. It's all right. I know everything, and it doesn't make a difference.
What?
You were probably very young to help anyone can make a mistake.
What are you talking about?
No apologies, no explanations, please. I'll only be in town a short while, and, well, the sadder the wiser girl for me.
You please make your selection and leave.
I have.
Well, what do you want to take out?
The librarian!
What?
Come, listen, Mary. Look. Marion. Marbles. 6 Steelies, 8 Aggies, a dozen Peewees, and 1 big lassie with an American flag in the middle. I think I'll drop that. Shh! Madam Librarian. What can I do, my dear, to catch your ear? I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, heaven help us if the library caught on fire and the volunteer hose brigade men had to whisper the news to Marian. Madam Librarian. What can I say, my dear? To make it clear, I need you badly, badly, Madam Librarian. Marian, if I stumbled and I busted my whatchamacallit, I would rely on your floor and notice till my body had turned to Marian. Madam Librarian. Well Well, Tommy, it's been a pretty good morning. 11 sales out of 12 tries. That's not bad. Tell you what, it's almost noon. Why don't you go home and get yourself something to eat? All right, goodbye, Professor. Thanks, Tommy.
Mr. Hill, are you soliciting? You haven't got a license.
Well, no, Mayor Shin. I collect doorbells, and this next house has an unusual specimen.
Flattery will not avail you, Mr. Hill. Solicitation is statutory in this town. Malfeasance without a permit. Why haven't you been down to City Hall with your references yet?
Must have just missed you, and Mr. Mayor.
What?
Your hand.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh, well, what?
The spread of your little finger. It's hereditary.
It is? What does that mean?
It means that your son's little finger is perfectly situated to operate the spit valve on a B-flat flugelhorn.
Is that good?
Good? It means that at last, America has produced an artist that can flugel the minute waltz in 50 seconds.
How can I give you one of these horns?
Sign here, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Just think. How can I miss this? I haven't got any son, Mr. Hill. You unscrupulous, who-body night. You unflightless. You'll be down in City Hall with your references by God 3 o'clock.
You mean this afternoon?
I couldn't be any plainer if I was a Quaker on his day off.
Mrs. Peru, do you realize that you have the facial characteristics of a cornet virtuoso?
Well, I don't know if I understand you entirely, Professor.
Why, if your boy has that same firm chin and those splendid cheek muscles, by George! Not that he could ever be really great, you understand.
Oh, is that so? And in the name of St. Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, all the really great cornet players were Irish. O. Clark, O. Mendes, O. Klein.
Oh, but Professor, we are Irish.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. Sign here, Mrs. Peru. Your boy was born to play the cornet. Thank you. That'll be $7 earnest money. Nothing more due till the first installment payable at the opening of band practice. Thank you. And of course, I'll need the boy's measurements for his uniform.
His uniform?
Hello, Winthrop. Why, certainly, his uniform, which gives him 4 weeks to enjoy, to anticipate, to imagine, at no cost whatever. Never allow the demands of tomorrow to interfere with the pleasure and excitement of today.
Would it have
A stripe? Certainly, my boy. A wide red stripe on each side. What do you think of that?
Oh, you'll have to excuse Winthrop, Professor. We can't get him to say the words even to us, but you can get him to play in that band. You're not St. Michael's on the way with you, but if anybody can do it, I'll bet you can. Well, in a crowd, I pick you for a hard-carrying, flame-pipe smoking, chevron-wearing, harp-playing, terrace-hall minstrel singing Irishman. Big gulpy jams. Where you're from, Mika?
Gary, Indiana.
Oh, I knew it.
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
What is she now?
Certainly. How to do that?
How to do, Mr. Hill?
Of course, Peru! I thought the name sounded familiar. I tried to see you since the other night.
Oh, he wants to put Winthrop in the band.
We're not interested, Mama.
Marion. He might have his father's musical gifted. He does have my daughter, you know.
Your husband? Musical? I'd certainly like to have a
Do you
talk.
come into everybody's home like this, prying into personal affairs? We're not interested.
Marion.
Well, why not let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father's dead. Anything else?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But that's all the more reason
My
why...
brother's a 10-year-old problem child who can't understand why his father was taken away. Would you care to explain it to him? And he's been brooding about it for over 2 years. And as for your musical tricks, Professor Harold, why don't you go into business with some nice carnival man who sells gold-plated watches and glass diamond rings?
Musical tricks? Well, I get the feeling she likes the idea. A little cautious, perhaps, but I admire that in a woman. Just keep me alive and I'll be back later in the week.
Oh, one moment, Professor Hill. About the boy's measurements. Oh, I make all of his clothes. Waist 28, front 14, sleeping.
Fine, that's all I need. I really must be getting back to the hotel.
Indiana conservation class of all time. Now, darling.
Now, Mama, surely a girl's future doesn't depend on every fast-talking, self-centered, traveling man who comes into town. And the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right, but it's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in one drawer and the steel in the other, you'll never make much of a fire.
Mama! Winthrop, I know you're there. Please go to the library and ask Miss Scruggs to give you the book I set aside. It's the Indiana State Educational Journal, 1890 to 1910. It's a brown volume with black corners.
Do I have to?
You won't have to talk to anybody. I've written it all down. Thank you, dear.
Now, what are you up to? Why do you need books at this hour of the night?
I have a feeling the Indiana Journal will help me poke some large holes into the professor's claims.
Well, I give up, but if you don't mind my saying so, at this point in your life, what kind of white knight do you expect to come riding along?
I'm not waiting for Elizabeth Reiner who backs me to the ancient history shelf every time he comes into the library.
Because?
Or Ed Gamage in that buggy of his with the movable back seat. I'm not waiting for a man in shining white armor either.
Yes, George.
Yes, the very first thing, Raleigh, horse with the hay. Never mind. The very first thing I said, morning of July 4th, 1912. Get that man's credentials, I said. And now look, my wife is off running at any hours of the night instead of working in the home.
Now, George!
My school board is singing up and down the alley instead of tending to city matters. My daughters are off running with some wild kid from the wrong side of town. And my business has fallen off so far I can't find the balance sheet.
Mr. Hill, Mayor Shin, I found something in this book very interesting about Professor Hill's alma mater.
His who?
His university.
Oh, I know all about that. In fact, it's the only thing I can ever get out of it. Garrett Conservatory, class of '05.
But if you'll chance to take a moment to read about the conservatory, I don't think you'll have to look any further. It's on page...
Papa, the Wells Fargo wagon's coming up to the depot.
A lighting story. The Wells Fargo wagon? This time of the day? Nonsense.
It could be a band instrument.
Band instruments?
Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. Oh, please let it be for me. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I wish I knew what it could be.
I got a box of maple sugar on my birthday.
In March I got a Prince Avignon.
And once I got some grapefruit from Tampa.
Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. Oh, please raise the price of COD.
It could be curtain or dishes or a
It could be.
Yes, it could be. Yes, you're right. It surely could be. Something very, very special now. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. Oh, don't let it pass my door. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I wish I knew what he was coming for.
I got some salmon from Seattle last September. Did I expect you to rock the jam?
I hope I get my raisins from Fresno.
Even on a set of cannon for the courthouse man.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming now. I don't know how, I can never wait to see. It could be something for someone who is no lazy, but it could be something special just for me.
From Mr. Ferris.
we just wanted to show some of our appreciation with the picture that we have of all of us and autographs from everybody. So thank you very much, Mr. Crow. We have a man who can build a car, a huge plant, a coffin, and many different types of houses. His name is Mr. Nissen. And this is the last year Mr. Nissen will be with us, so we'd like to give him special recognition once again.
Just to let you know, as I stand in the back of the auditorium, I watch little cell phones being turned on. During the second act, if you do that, we have a shot underneath your seat. I'm just telling you, beware.